So I'm Desmond. I did my project on material choices for springs. And so springs can come in many different shapes, sizes, and functions. There's helical springs, leaf springs, torsion bars, axial springs. There's many different types. And so the two objectives that you look at when trying to choose materials for a spring is minimizing either the volume or minimizing the weight. And so the purpose of springs is to store as much elastic energy as possible. And these three equations up here look at storing the elastic energy per unit volume. And with leaf springs and torsion bars, you can see that they're less efficient than axial springs, but these three equations don't really, hold much weight to when looking at choosing for materials. And so what you really look at is the material index for both of them. This one would be for minimizing volume, and this one would be for minimizing weight. And so you want to maximize the material index, and that gives you a search region down in the bottom right. And with you want to make sure your failure strength is higher and your Young's modulus is low. And so some good materials that it gives you are elastomers. And depending on the application, you can use steels as well, high strength steels. So this chart shows for minimizing volume, and you can have another chart that will show you for minimizing weight. So in summary, for minimizing weight and minimizing volume, it showed that elastomers were a great choice to go for when looking at both of those. And the rationale is because it maximizes your material index. In conclusion, though, depending on the application that you are looking at, so if you were looking at a high strength spring, I guess for something like suspensions, maybe using elastomers wouldn't work out too well. You'd probably go to steels or something with a higher failure strength.
Hi, my name is Sundar V. My presentation will be on elastic hinges today. So for example, hinges are found in everyday applications. For example, you have the water bottle right here. It's very important to help translate motion. You can find it in shampoo bottles, boxes, you can find it in your knees, your skin, mostly everything. So the problem with hinges is that we're trying to find materials that can bend continuously without failing or breaking. So in order to do that, we have to find materials that have very good stress and strain and are able to be bent to the smallest radius possible. So for right here, our design problem will be finding the best material to have a hinge for a box, a lid of a box. Model description, the function is an elastic hinge. Constraints, like I said, we're trying to find the stress that's less than the failing stress. The strain is found right here through formula where it's the thickness over 2 times the radius. The stress has to be less than the failing stress, and the best material to be chosen should have the highest or greatest value of index. And when you look at the graph between the Young modulus and strength, we found that the best material when the slope is 1 is polymers, elastomers, and also steel and copper alloys. The best ones are elastomers, but their problem is they're not rigid enough and they're too elastic. So if you don't want to use that, you can go to polymers such as nylon or polyethylene. And then you also have spring steels, but those are more expensive and they tend to fail faster than the other 2 materials. So in summary, materials that can constantly bend without failing over time is the objective. Those are the materials that we're trying to find, and we found that elastomers, polymers, and spring steels or copper alloys were the best, but the better option was the elastomers. And like I said, it's the best thing is to find materials that don't fail under constant usage.
My name's Sam, and I did a design project on materials for seals. And for this project, kind of focused on the cylindrical seal in that kind of shape. And so the design problem, you have a seal that's pressed between two flat surfaces, and you want it to be elastic, and you want a limit on the contact pressure, and you want low cost, and then your objective is to maximize the conformability to the surface. And so you're trying to maximize the width, that B right there, that the seal makes contact with the two surfaces that it presses against, and then 3 variables are your choice of material, where you get to pick. And so model description, you have a cylinder, diameter 2r, and a modulus E, pressed by a force F per unit length, forms elastic contact of width B. So your objective function, the one you want to maximize is that width, and you're given B equals 2 times cubic root of FR over E. And then you also have to keep in mind that you have this contact stress that you want to minimize. And so given that, you're left with this constraint equation of your width has to be less than or equal to 3 times the radius over the failure strength divided by the modulus. And so that gives you your first material index, M1, of that failure strength over the modulus. And so that's what you're looking to maximize. So you're looking for materials with a high yield strength and a low modulus, so that it flexes a lot, but then doesn't deform very easily under that higher pressure. And then depending on what contact material is, your second material index is given by your failure strength, which was just randomly selected to be 100 MPa. And so looking at the chart, in the chart they actually moved the failure strength down to around 40 MPa over here. And then you're looking in this region right around here, and you have your M1 sigma F over E. So you're looking in this region. And some of the materials that come up, you got a lot of foams and stuff, which kind of sit a little bit lower down here, and they give a lot of width, but they have a low yield strength, and so they'll deform and crack pretty easily. And so what you're looking to do is you kind of want that higher yield strength with a really low modulus, which you're looking at your elastomers and things like that. And then so here kind of gives a chart of some of the pros and cons of these materials. Polyurethanes end up being the best, which is this material right here. But they're mostly used for seals, but sometimes not the most durable given your application, whether you're using different oils as lubrication. Sometimes they can deteriorate and things like that. I ended up picking a polyurethane rubber as my material selected to make a seal. It's only $2.94 per kilogram and has a modulus of 2.5 MPa with a failure strength of 40 MPa, giving you an M1 of 16, which is pretty dang high. And elastomers maximize the contact area. Foams and corks minimize the contact pressure, and at the same time maximize it, but you're still limited to how much pressure you can put on that actual seal. And PTFE and silicone rubbers best resist heat and organic solvents.
There we go. Okay. Hi, my name is Carly. My project is about deflection limited design with brittle polymers. So this is kind of the first project that isn't specifically about like building a specific thing. It's I'm going to talk about kind of the justification of why we use polymers in deflection limited design. So this is just kind of an example of some of designs that could be made with some different polymers, which is that like a fasten, like a lid or a snap ring. So a little bit of background of the problem. So generally, when considering different constraints for designs, you have design load specified, design energy specified, or design deflection specified. And the big thing is people generally don't think of the energy or the deflection limitations. Normally, as a rule of thumb, when engineers are designing some type of problem, they look at load design specifications. And so a rule of thumb is generally it shouldn't be anything less than 15 MPa.m². So metals always pass this. Some cast iron, powder metallurgy can be around this. Sometimes they fail. Ceramics almost always fail, and then polymers 100% almost always fail. But kind of the thing with this case study is, so why do we still use polymers even if they fail in this particular constraint? And so what I'm going to be talking about is it's not just the load specified limitations that we look at. We also look at energy specified and then deflection specified. So this is kind of going over all three design limits. So like I said, with load limitations, The first equation, so each of those in white are where they're going to fail in each of these categories. The second one in this kind of peachy color is the best material index to be selected for each of these to do well, and then kind of the rule of thumb, meaning like what engineers generally consider to be the failing point. It shouldn't be any less than this, are each of these values here. So specifically for this specific experiment with polymers, is talking about deflection or displacement limited, and so this is the specific one they focus on, but as you're going to see in the next slide, they actually do well in both of these areas, even though they don't do as well in the first category. So this is kind of the selection process, and going through like ceramics and polymers, like I said, don't do really well in the first category with load limited design, but the polymers do well in the energy limited as well as the deflection limited, and then ceramics tend to fail in all of those. So there's still some things need to be done as far as testing that use with ceramics. But some of the different things that they ended up selecting, just in specifics, were like, this isn't really selecting a specific thing, this is kind of clarifying why they still use polymers. So some of those polymers that are used most popular are things like nylon, polycarbonates, or polyester are typically used and can be considered better than most metals, especially in the deflection limited design category. And kind of just in the end, you know, we use metals for a lot of things because they're considered really good in all three of those categories, but we shouldn't rule out polymers as being used in designs because they do well in the other two categories. So yeah.